Hey everybody, thanks for watching. This is the Father's Day Be Better Golf special. And for this video, we're going to be talking about how to teach your kid to play golf. And today for this video, I have with me David Heinen. How's it going, Dave?
Hey, how are you doing, Brandon?
Really good friend of mine for almost 20 years now, and a great instructor. And the reason I picked David for this video, because David, I know it's just a rough estimate, but how many kids have you taken to college scholarships through your teaching?
Well, it's just, overall, from D3 all the way through, I've probably had more than 200 kids.
Okay.
D1, I've had close to 100.
Okay, wow.
Yeah. So that have gotten either half or full scholarships.
And I was talking to a dad, I think you could relate to this. I was talking to a dad the other day that his daughter went and had a D1 scholarship and got all paid for college. It was actually his son, played at Long Beach State, and college was all paid for and everything. But he said the real reward to teaching his kid to play golf is now about 5 years after college. Now he's got a golf buddy for life. And I think that's really what you're looking for.
Well, yeah, and I think the most important thing is that, golf is such a great family sport. Like my wife plays, my son plays who's 5, and my daughter plays who's 4, and now we've got this great foursome. And if you're just teaching one kid, yeah, you always have somebody in the cart with you, and you're both learning from each other, whether he's doing something better than you, or hopefully you can always help him improve upon, whether it's mental or fundamentals.
And you'll never have that, you'll never be sitting there and have nothing to talk about, because with golf there's always stuff to talk about. So okay, so David, I wanted to talk for a second before we totally get into specifics, but generally the people, I see this a lot in Little League and baseball, the dads become the coaches. So these are guys in golf that they play golf recreationally, they've tried to get better on their own, maybe they've had some lessons, but they've never really taught it. So what is the difference between being a golfer and then being somebody who's trying to make somebody else better, a golf coach?
Sure, so we all have our own, theories of how to swing it, right? And so I think naturally most fathers are going to go to what they're doing, but really what you want is, you want strong fundamentals. So if you're a father and you shoot 100 or you shoot 90, your fundamentals are probably not real strong, but maybe you have an idea. So make sure that you're cueing in on what are the grip fundamentals, what are the setup fundamentals, what, stick to the lay the groundwork, the right groundwork. That's really important. The thing that I always see is kids just come in, they have no structure. They've been hitting a lot of balls on the range with their dad or their mom, and there's no real structure. They just let them grip it however, and that's how you get people that I'll see kids come in, they'll be gripping it, reverse, grip, and they'll come in, they'll hit. They've been gripping it that way for a long time. So, always start with the basics of fundamentals, because if you don't have that, eventually down the line, you're going to bring them to me, and I'm going to have to fix that. So I would always, keep it fundamentally strong. You want the fun has got to be there more than anything, and if you make it fun, generally your kid will have a lot more focus.
Okay. I'm laughing because I know that with my own kids, when I try, us working on fundamentals is about the furthest thing from fun there is.
Sure.
But let's get into it, and then I know that you have some clever ideas about how to keep it fun. So let's get into it. I know every golf book starts out with the grip. Is that a good place to start?
It's a great place to start. Now, I don't really recommend that you teach your kid how to grip it unless you're going to actually put markings on the grip. Okay, because if you're trying to put a kid's hands on the grip, he really won't understand how you're doing it, right? So I really like, color coding a club. I've got markers where I would put left thumb.
So come real close, David, and let's, because I want to get real specific with how you like the grip for people.
So, I'm a very Varden kind of guy. So I like, left thumb, right of the grip. And then,
so that golf pride, just so people know, that aligns with the leading edge. So
and then, I'm always looking for the crease, here to point towards your right shoulder. Okay, and
so set up to it. So just left hand only. I want to see where that crease is pointed.
So that's pointed right here.
Yep.
Okay. And then when you put that right hand on, it's the same. It's just the opposite, right? So I'm a reverse overlap guy.
Yeah.
Kids. I generally like kids to start out 10 finger because they don't generally have a lot of control, but you want them all together. I don't like this separation.
Yeah.
I see that a lot, or I see kids just they grip it way underneath like this. They'll start out that way.
Oh, yeah.
And that's a really bad habit to start out with, because eventually most instructors are trying to neutralize that at least a little. Like, I'll get a kid that comes in, has been gripping it that way for 5-6 years. I really can't change it. I can only kind of go, okay, let's move it over here a little bit. And I know Brendan just went through a grip change not long ago, and you were struggling with it for a while,
yeah,
right?
So right hand is tough.
Yeah, so we want a real, this would be a real strong grip. That would be weak, and that would be pretty neutral.
Yeah.
So what I like to do is just make sure that the kids always have it in their fingers. And if you're like, the Adam Scott way is a good way. You just put the toe of the club straight, and then you just grip it like it's a sort of a suitcase here.
Okay, so I got my club here. So the toe on your toe.
Yep, toe on my toe, so where the lines are square to like that direction, right?
Yep.
And then what you want to do is just try to get it in your bag 3 fingers.
Yep.
Yeah, and then put it on to where it feels like this left hand is square to the club face that you're using. Okay.
So let's just check that out. Oh yeah, and then now I got my V going to.
Yeah, so you got your V going, and then you can just put that right hand on kind of comfortably.
Now there.
Yeah, so I would say your V is a little weak still, and I know you've been trying to strengthen it. Yeah, that looks like a lot better there. Good. So, okay, so this would be weak. If this is pointed to your chest, that would sort of be a weak right hand. If this is pointed outside your right shoulder, that would be strong, and that would be a real kind of neutral Hogan.
So these are the V's.
Yep.
Here and here.
Yep.
And we want them both about
Yeah, you can have them anywhere between like here to here.
Okay.
Depending on how your hands fit up on there.
The thing I notice a lot, especially with like poor players and kids, is when they take your grip. See, when I see this, I don't see a lot of grip here. And when they do it, it's like they have like the thumbs are apart, and I can see, and the hands are apart too.
Yeah.
So you can see like a lot of grip.
Yeah, and so their fingers are spread, and they have this going, right? So, I mean, the main thing would be like, shooting a gun, with both of those, right? So if I had a gun and a pistol in both of those, like for a kid.
Oh,
like,
okay.
Okay, so you can see that I've got both of those points there, right? So you wouldn't shoot a gun like that, right?
Yeah, so you do like these thumbs touching.
Yeah, so I like these muscles activated here, because when they're not, if you get a kid that's like this, when they get up to the top, this thing will fall.
Oh, yeah.
You see that? So there's no support. That's why you want that grip there. So as soon as I get it here, I've got this support, and I'm not going to...
It's on the left thumb, and it's supported by that, too.
That's right, yeah.
Okay. David, you were talking about like putting marks on the grip or whatever.
Yep,
And I know you worked with David Ledbetter for a while. This is David Ledbetter's grip. I like it a lot. It's on Amazon for, I think, like 20 bucks or something, or $25. I think for a kid, it's a great investment. It's kind of thin. It's easy.
I mean, it's super beneficial, okay? I mean, there's a bunch of different ones. This is a great one because it's got the thumbs like you're talking about.
Yeah, the circles.
So, like, even if a kid gets everything else wrong, at least he can get his thumbs on it right, and then he'll start to migrate towards, how that feels in his fingers.
Cool.
But I really like that.
Okay, we could go on about the grip for a
Forever.
long time. Some guys make a whole career on just the grip, but what's next?
So after that is, definitely set up. Posture. I would say that's probably, the most important thing, like understanding, so for kids or for even young adults, it's always about, can I create a perfect triangle, okay, with my feet? So what's a perfect triangle? The triangle's got to be, if I generally start with a wedge or an 8-iron, okay? That's because the ball's always going to be about in the middle of my stance, right? So, and I always want, my feet and my knees and my hips.
One doesn't count.
Yeah, so that one doesn't count. I mean, you could use it if you want for like a driver. So we put the, up there.
Oh, I see.
But what we want to do is we really want to get those new golfers, or even, if you've started them out, we want to make sure that their setup is very solid. Yeah, I got my triangle, okay? And what I like to do is I really like to, use letters or numbers for my, just for basic fundamentals. So once I have this grip, okay, and then that's where that's at, I really like to just go, okay, and every guy on tour, you'll see them just hop in, they'll go club, foot, shuffle, look at the target, and then they'll hit, okay? So for a kid, it's pretty much the same. You can make them look like a pro without, really making it so like, I see people like throw their kids' feet around and
like pick it up and
yeah. So it's way easier. Like if you're working on a mat, you can just write letters like A, B, and C. Okay.
Where would that go?
So the A would be here. So I'd draw an A here,
Yep.
And then the B would be here, and then C would be there.
Oh, like chalk on the mat.
Yeah, chalk on the mat, or even at home, you know, if you're hitting into like a wall with a wiffle ball.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So once you have that grip, I always tell my kids, or even the beginners, I'm like, okay, so you got your grip, so let's set up. So set up is A, B, C, and then you can shuffle a little bit. And then after that, then I go through either, if they're really like toddlers, then you can't get crazy specific. Really what you want to do is you just want to say, okay, A, B, C, and then you just tell them to make a backswing, okay, and then you tell them to make a finish.
Okay.
Okay,
yeah.
So that's it for like kids that are like 6 and under. If you can get them to do that, they'll come out and they'll start hitting shots.
And you have them on a tee usually?
Usually I start them in a tee, and then once they get that down, you throw a few on the ground, see if they can hit them on the ground. But you know, just a little tee, and if you can't hit that, then just raise it.
Yeah.
If you want to get more, if the kid is a little bit older, like 6 to 10, then I would take them through what I would call like 6 simple steps.
Yeah, I've heard you do this before, where you're like, okay, give me a 1 to 2 or what?
Yeah, 1 through 6. Yeah, I call it my 1 through 6. So
what is this?
Basically, it's a real simple way for a kid to understand how to get into the correct stance and the correct posture, and how to make a golf swing.
Like a motion.
Okay. Yeah. So we'll get a good grip, and then okay, give me an A, B, C. So we go A, B, and C, and then from here I want them to stand straight up. Okay. And this would be a position 1. Okay. And then would and then 2 would just be to bend your knees. That's 2. And then 3 would just to be, put your butt back a little bit and then let your arms fall. Okay. So what that does is it really gets people square first, right? So if they start here, I always see, people set up way open, or their feet's open or something like that. So all these things are just creating solid fundamentals, like without you having to do anything. They're just cues. It becomes like judo or karate, any of those things, right? So it's really simple. It's just A, B, C, and then you just want to stand straight up. Now I know if I was talking to somebody right here, I want it, like, I would say this is my soldier position. So if I was talking to a soldier or a colonel, I'd want to stand tall right in front of them. I wouldn't want to be this way or some other way, right? So I'm going to be here. That would be 1, and then 2, and then 3, butt back. And then sometimes I'd just say, bow to the ball, and that's fine. So that would be 3. So that's our 3 positions. Okay. And then from there, what I would do is I would have them swing to the top, and that would be 4. So 4 is swing to the top, okay? And then 5 would be try to come back to 3, where you're kind of pushing the ball a little bit forward. So that would be 5, and that would be impact, right?
Yep.
So that would be 5, and then 6 is finish. So I'm just gonna finish and then hold my 6, okay? And when I get to 6, if people tend to not get to their 6, I tell them to hold their 6 for 4 seconds. So basically it becomes a 10-second swing. Right?
Okay.
So it's really simple. I won't hit this one here, but
so go through, like, because I've seen you count it out for people.
Yeah.
Like 1.
So you got a good grip. Okay. You go A, B, C, shuffle. And then I'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then I'll go 1,
5
2,
is downswing, 6
3, 4.
Oh yeah, holding it.
Yeah, holding your finish. Grip. A, B, C, 1, so I'm square, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4. If I do that in full, it'll look like this. So if a kid comes into a ball and most, like even my 5-year-old, he's got it pretty much down. He'll just go, okay, I'll just go set up. He'll just go A, B, C, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you only have to do it for about 2 weeks before they start doing it on their own, like not even thinking about it, huh?
Yeah, it's all about creating habits, because those 4 steps to learning are important, I mean, a person comes to golf and they don't really know what golf is or how to do it.
Yeah.
So you're unconscious, incompetent, and then once you start to tell them how to do it and they can think about it in those steps, they'll know how to do it, but they'll have to think about it. Eventually, they'll do it so many times that it just becomes, consciously, all the time where you don't have to think about it. Unconscious competence is what we're looking for with something like that, right? So
let's talk a little bit about, I know one of the hardest things to develop a kid, even a kid that practices a ton, is touch. So like even like for long lag putts and then even like I know like with kids that I played with before, they make sometimes really great chipping impact that it'll go like screaming past the hole.
Sure.
So what do you like for short game, touch, that kind of stuff?
You know, I really like tempo, counting tempo. You know, for most kids.
Counting out loud.
Yeah, like counting out loud because the most important thing is that you develop tempo early. You know, because you want good tempo not only just for chipping and putting, but for your golf swing too.
Yeah.
You know, so I mean, I really like that blast motion thing. If you want to invest in something like that, that one's good. But really,
metronome, something like
that.
Yeah.
Generally it's like your resting heart rate. If it's like your resting heart rate 72 beats per minute, then that's kind of what you want to set that to.
Okay.
That metronome sort of thing. So for me, it's always just about 1, 2, 1, 2. That's always what I'm trying to get my kids to always think about. Because if you're thinking about the target and how to hit it, you're always just trying to do
flow.
There's no flow to it, right? So and it also makes you forget about like the result if you're counting a little.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So even like if you watch Tiger Woods when he putts, he's still like, he's still like 1, 2, 1, 2, and then he's like 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. He's always like counting.
Everything he goes to do, and then chipping or putting, because the tempo is more equal in this than in the full swing, right?
Yeah.
So every step it'd be like tick, tock, tick, tock, tick, tock, tick, tock, tick, tock, tick, tock.
That's exactly right. So that came off so good. That was such a good shot, right? You weren't thinking about anything other than like click, click, or tick tock, or 1, 2, right? And
but you'll have kids physically like.
Oh yeah, I'll have them count out loud. That's the important thing.
Get their mind off of it and get into the flow.
And it's just about like if you look at the target, like even when they look at the target. So like once they get set up, I'll just have them go, okay, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2.
Okay.
Right? So that way even their looks at the target have rhythm.
Well, this has been great, David. So give us just a few pointers before we go on ways, because I know especially like it's hard. Sometimes kids will definitely get a coach. That's obvious, do that. But sometimes like kids won't listen to the parents.
Sure.
Won't listen to mom and dad, but they would listen to a stranger. So what are some good tips you have to, one, keep the learning fun and keep them motivated, and 2, to get them to be like, oh, Dad, you don't know anything. You're not Tiger Woods. You don't know anything. Right.
Yeah. So I would have them like just try to challenge their kid to like little contests and stuff. Like, hey, try it my way for 5 or 10 times, and you can have some ice cream or something.
Okay.
So for me, it's just about like if you watch me and if I do it well. The other thing is I'm a big believer in like if you're going to teach your kid, you should really try to learn how to do it. So there are too many parents, I think, that only watch TV. Yeah. And then so that doesn't hold a lot of merit with their kids. Mm-hmm. Like, oh well, let me see you do it. So if you're going to do it, show it a practice, and so that way you can really show your kid, this is how you do it, and let me show you how it works. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. So and then if it doesn't work for me, then don't try it. That sort of thing. If your kid's going to fight you on it, right? Right. So, but I really feel like a lot of parents will just constantly go to like, well, here's what they do on TV. This is the instructor. This is what you should do. Keep your left arm straight. All these things. I always hear like the same things on the range. If I'm like just going down the range of parents, you got to keep your head down. Yeah. You got to keep your left arm straight. Those are like the two things I always hear again and again. And I would recommend
you looked up.
Yeah, you looked up. Yeah, those are like the same things again and again. And really, it's just about getting kids to enjoy like hitting a lot of shots and having them enjoy the success. Like if something good happens, just immediately give them a high five.
Celebrate it.
You know what I mean? Yeah, like I incentivize my kids. They love M&Ms. So I'm just like, hey, and I'll put a circle out. If you chip, every ball you chip in the circle is an M&M, right? Oh yeah. So they're like, oh yeah, and then but if I see you doing it fast, then the game's over. So
yeah, you gotta. That's the thing that I've noticed in doing a little bit of coaching too, and also like working with Xander, is that you have to incentivize the process more than the result.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like if you tell kids like, oh, like if you hit this in the hole, or if you get it on the green from there, you'll get something. That's good. That's all right. And some kids will respond well to that, but some kids will do better, especially early on, where you say like, hey, okay, like if I see that you took like 20 seconds through this whole routine, and I really see a great focus, that's going to be the thing that you get into. And I don't care about what the result was.
Sure. Yeah, and I think if you can get your kid to just, I think that 45 minutes is plenty of time to put your kids through anything, right?
Yeah.
So there's a lapse in every players, and even probably my mind, even when I was a kid, like 45 minutes of anything is pretty much enough. Like you can go hit balls for 45 minutes, then get off the range and go putt for 45 minutes, and then go chip for 45 minutes, and in between that have some fun, you know what I mean? So I feel like parents really want their kids to be great, and I want my kid to be a great player too, and so it's one of those things where you don't want to push too hard, but you also just want to make sure that their fundamentals are strong. My kid's going to develop how to be a player on the golf course, and so is yours, and so is everybody else's, and it's getting them to have the right fundamentals and have enough fun and get some success to where they just want to spend all day out here and practice and get better, right? Because
that's what you always hear about the guys on tours. Like the mom it's not these helicopter kind of parenting. It's more like I dropped him off at the course and I come back 8 hours later. He's still
whacking it. Yeah.
So let's go on to for the final part. Is how do you get, like, let's say your kid has had like great success in golf. There's going to be very few people that this relates to, but it's something I've wondered about.
Sure.
Your kid has had great success in golf. How do you make sure that by the time that they're like, because I know this happens especially for some reason in girls golf and college girls golf, but the time they putt out on their last tournament of the round, they go like this and they go, I am never touching a golf club again in my life. And you see there's these thriving, huge girls programs, and then I see almost no women golfers. So how do you make sure, like, okay, it's cool that you're a competitive golfer and everything, but like I want you to be a golfer for life, so we have this thing to do together. How do they not burn out on it? Even as the competition gets very intense.
Yeah, I think it's a slippery slope once you get past D1, women's golf, because there's so much like, well, you're playing D1, you should be able to make it on the LPGA tour, and if not, girls feel like, they just feel like they've failed, and so they don't want to pick up a club again, right? Or they've played so much golf that they feel like they've missed out on the rest of maybe other activities.
Oh, gotcha.
That's really how I kind of see most of it. Is like they've had so much emphasis, and the burnout is just like it's golf, school, and that's it. You know what I mean? So it's golf and school, and once they're out of school, they basically feel like, well, I've done my job as a golfer to my mom and dad, or and so that's where I think it needs to be really clear that you did this as a lifetime thing, and the other thing is you did it as a social, maybe you're doing it as a social economic thing, meaning that it could help you become the VP of sales, or it could help you become a CEO.
It's a huge skill.
I mean, golf is such a respected sport now, so if you become like a scratch player in golf and you go to a job interview and somebody else has the same skills as you, and the VP or the CEO that you're interviewing with, it happens to be a golfer, and you have down there that you play D1 golf and that you're still playing the game here and there, it's way easier for those people to go, wow, I can really communicate them on a lot of levels, and we can even go out onto a corporate event and that kind of thing, so
the benefits are they keep going. All right, Dave, that was great. How can people find out more about you?
You can go to my Instagram at Your Best Golf, or you can go to my YouTube channel, which I'm actually going to talk to you about just to really get more engagement in at Your Best Golf. I'm on Kaizen Golf Academy on Facebook, or you can go to kzngolf.com on my .com page. So
easiest way, I think, just DM him on Instagram if you guys have a specific question, or come out here to Recreation Parking Lots in Long Beach and just come say hello.
Yeah, I'm at Rec Park 5 days a week, just fixing swings.
All right, guys, thanks for watching.
Thank you.
See you later. Bye.
Finish. Hold it. Good job, Faith. backswing, finish.